All right. Good evening, everybody. Today is March the 10th, 2022. And we're here with Chris again. We're here, Chris Hauser. And if you guys don't know, my name is Tad. I host these calls, and I run the website youhavetheright.com. And what I do is I take these calls and I break them up by subject, and I put them in my monthly membership. The question I see coming up in the Telegram is, oh my gosh, do I have to pay $37 a month to hear this? No, you do not. The calls are free. I host the calls in their entirety for free, but what I do is I break them down by subject to make them a lot easier for you to listen to what you need to listen to without having to listen to hours and hours and hours of conference calls. And if you want to stay informed of these conference call schedules and other things that I'm putting out there, go to youhavetheright.com and join our mailing list. That's very important. That way we can stay in touch with you. So, Chris, hello there.
Welcome, everybody. It's been an eventful week. Crazy busy. One of the questions I get that I've got asked a lot that had to do with the last video where I was showing the letter from the IRS to one of my comrades that's locked up. And the most frequently asked question is about the beneficiary account. Out of all that stuff going on, that seemed to be the number one thing that everybody was interested in. So we're going to start tonight off, and I'm going to explain to you all about the beneficiary account, clear up a few things that people are kind of confused about. One is, and I've said it I'm dealing with a cold. I've had a bad cold now for about 3 days. I'm trying to get over it. But
oh my God, it's COVID.
Yeah, it's got to be COVID. It's got to be COVID. Everybody in the family's got it. Actually, I was the last one to get it again. We had one about 3 months ago. But anyway, I'm getting over it rather well. It hasn't got down into my chest like colds used to do when I was a cigarette smoker. But those were rough. Those were rougher than any COVID. But one of the questions, or one of the things that people are confused about, is the beneficiary account, like it's something special. It is something special. Actually, it's something different. You're not going to open up a beneficiary account and get a beneficiary debit card that you can just draw money off of. It doesn't work like that. This beneficiary account is just like a regular account. You got to put money into it if you're going to use the debit card to get money out. The difference is when you open up a regular account, you're an authorized representative of that account. And if you're an authorized representative, then you're not a beneficiary. So that's why banks don't like to do this. Because when you're an authorized representative, then there's no identified beneficiary in the beneficiary bank account. All bank accounts that you would go down and sign up for, and you put your Social Security number on the application for the account, it's a trust action. But if you go in there and you don't identify yourself as the beneficiary, and you're there as the authorized representative, that's what's micro-printed on the bottom of the check, the signature line. It says authorized representative, through the whole line. So when you sign that, if you have a beneficiary bank account and you sign it with a beneficiary signature, you're being identified as the beneficiary. Without the beneficiary position being filled in the account, well, then they can go ahead and do whatever they want to in the account. They can charge you service fees. They can charge, the different things that they charge. With a beneficiary account, they cannot do that. The first one that I opened up had a $6.50 service fee. The first statement, they took that $6.50 off, and then they put it right back on again. For about the next 9 months or 10 months, well, even up to the statements that I still get now, it says there's no service fee. They can't do that because there you are as the beneficiary. They also can't, like saying the IRS wants to come in and clean your account out. They can't do that with a beneficiary account. With an authorized representative account, they can, without suffering malfeasance of office because they violated the trust that they had between the bank and the client or the beneficiary. So that's what that's about. It's no different than a regular bank account. Only the difference is now you've been identified as the beneficiary, which means they walk on eggshells. When they attempted to make, after I paid a house payment and I paid another car payment. It was the one that I bought for my mother-in-law years before I got into this. But I was making those car payments with the beneficiary check. So every month I was writing 2 or 3 checks that had the beneficiary signature on them and mailing them off. Well, those checks were going to these finance companies and the mortgage company, and then they were coming back to the bank, and the bank was actually transacting. So they agree to that. They agree that I'm the beneficiary. So the same thing with the mortgage company. If they're accepting a beneficiary check as a payment, well, then they're recognizing you as the beneficiary. And by doing so, they're saying, this is a trust action. This whole mortgage account is a trust action. They don't like to do that, but they're not paying much attention to it. It took 8 months for the bank to realize that, what's actually happening when they do a beneficiary account. And they told me that I had to come down and close it. If I didn't, they were going to close it for me. When they said that, I knew that they couldn't close it. Some folks out here are opening up beneficiary accounts, and the banks are telling them that the account is closed. It's not closed. They cannot close it. Only the beneficiary can do that. If they do, it's trust fraud. So they tried to get me to come down and close the account. I wouldn't do it. It's still open today, folks. That was 2016. I opened up that account. They also told the IRS that they wouldn't give them my $4,000 CD because they knew it'd be trust fraud if they did that. So I'm going to explain to you how to open up the beneficiary account. First of all, don't call the bank and ask them if you can open up a beneficiary account. Don't go to the bank and ask them if you can open up a beneficiary account because they're more likely going to tell you no. So you go to the bank and you go to a new bank and you say, I want to open up an account. You go in there and the accounts officer is going to take you in their office and set up the account, and they're going to be shuffling through some paperwork getting this together. So most of the time they're going to hand you this. Some banks now do the electronic signature thing, but the particular bank that I went to had the card. So I signed it with the beneficiary signature, kind of blocking the lady's view. I kind of lean over the desk to the front of the desk and put the card down, like you used to do in school when you'd hide your paper so nobody could cheat off your paper. I kind of did that so she couldn't see how I was signing it. Then I put the $200. She said it only took $100 to open the account, but I put $2 in it. And I took the two $100 bills and I laid them over the top of the signature card. And I handed them to her. She took those, and, I small talked around with her while she was doing this, because that can be a little distracting, Are those your sons? She had pictures of her sons, her grandsons, on her desk in their football uniforms. Oh, is that your sons? Do they play football at the high school, Oh, no, don't be silly. Those are my grandsons. You know what I mean? So I had her totally thinking of other things while I was handing her all this stuff. Once they accept that, and then they hand you your account stuff, you have an account. It's open. And then don't tell them you got a beneficiary account when it gets started. Let them be the ones to say, is this a beneficiary account? Then you can say, yes, it is. Well, we can't do that. Well, what do you mean you can't? You already did. Well, we'll have to close that, or you'll have to close that, or we will. No, I don't believe you will. The minute you do, I'm going to have you arrested for trust fraud. I'm going to have you charged for trust fraud. Don't let them bamboozle you into that. If they tell you your account has been closed, transact. One person that I got a message from said they opened up a beneficiary account, and when they realized it was a beneficiary account, when the bank realized it was a beneficiary account, they hoo-hawed around a little bit, and this person went in there and strutted the strut, and the bank was like, well, okay, yeah, and they left it open. The only problem this person's having is she's having a hard time getting her, her electronic banking stuff going, her account set up for her iPhone, and but they're keeping that. They're keeping her account open. They don't like to do this, but they will. And another thing, I was talking with Tad a little earlier about this. You want to go to another bank to open up a new account. You can also take a bank account that you have now. This is once you can open up a beneficiary account at another bank, take your account that you have now and start signing it with the beneficiary signature. When you go into the bank and you want to withdraw some money, right there at the end of your family name, put a little comma, do B-E-N-E period, and sign that, because they're going to give you money, and then they're going to accept that signature. When you write checks, write the whole word beneficiary, at least for the first month or so. Then after that, you can break it down and do the abbreviation to be a little faster about it. Write small. My name's really long, so I learned how to write my signature really small to make it fit on the lines. It's also harder to read, but if you can still kind of identify that that's a comma and there's a B-E-N-E period, well, then you can prove that you got a beneficiary account. Now, if you run that account like that, when you go in there to sign the deposit slips or the withdrawal slips, sign it with the beneficiary signature, jerk your phone out and take a picture of it. They're not going to think anything out of the way or unusual, because people are doing that now for their own records. So you can do that like that, and then every month you go on your online and print off copies of your canceled checks. Do that for about 4 or 5 months. And if they ever give you any grief about it, you can turn around and say, look, I've been doing commercial transactions at this bank now for 5 months with this signature of mine. And so you've accepted it. And if they say, well, we can't do that, that's when you're going to tell them, yes, you can, and you will, because you've agreed that this is a beneficiary account and using money to do it. Well, we can't accept that. Yeah, you can. You can accept it, and you will, because you have. Are you trying to tell me that all these months you've been accepting the wrong signature? And none of that stuff's good anymore? You're not going to do that. That's how you can do it with your own bank, the bank accounts that you've had open for years. But I would suggest going to a bank and getting the beneficiary account and starting a brand new account that way. Because it'll be on the signature card. If they ever want to argue it with you, you can say, where's the signature card? Here's the thing about the signature card, folks. When you go and close an account, they do not give you back your signature card. They won't do it. The reason that they won't do it is because there is still an account there. It may say that it's a zero balance, but I've heard of some folks even going in and writing a $500 check on a closed account and them cashing it. One of my newfound Moore buddies in Knoxville, he was telling me that they did that on an account that was supposed to have been closed. They went in and transacted on a closed account. The reason they do that is because they can show that they have that many accounts. And then what happens is FDIC will insure that bank for those closed accounts. What are they doing? What are they doing insuring an account that's supposed to be closed and there's no money in it? There is money in it.
How soon after the account was closed did he write the check? Do you know?
I'm not sure. We were talking about it one night here last week, and they said, "Do you know when you close an account, it's really not closed?" I said, "No, really?" He said, "Yeah, it's still you can still transact on it."
From what I've heard, they'll keep it open. They'll keep it open for 30 days to cover any checks that you've written.
Yeah, they said something about they wrote the check for like negative $500 or something like that. Yeah, let's just get over on the downside of this, on the negative side of this account here and see what we got. I don't know. It's just one person that told me that. So, but I could see him doing that because I know that they don't give you your. I've tried that. We're going to close your account, and if you don't keep I actually had a joint account with my second wife, and she went in and closed the account because we had an and/or account. So she went in and closed the account, and my disability check from the VA wouldn't come in because the account was closed. So and I asked them about that. I said, well, let me have the signature card. Oh, we can't do that. We can't let you have that. That's what that's about. So when you folks get these beneficiary accounts, that's what's going on with them. They are, you're identified as a beneficiary. Now they can't charge you for stuff. I mean, I could go to another bank with the ATM card, my ATM card, and use it at another bank where that bank has a $2 fee, and they wouldn't take it out. They wouldn't take the money out. I could use any ATM machine anywhere, and they wouldn't take that out for the bank.
You mean the fee?
Yeah, the fee. The ATM fee. You know how they always, if it's at your bank, it's free. They don't charge $2 or whatever. But you go to another bank and they want to charge you $2 service fee. They can't even do that. So, with a beneficiary account.
So, what if they ask you? So, how is this a beneficiary account? Is this a trust, or are you part of a deceased estate? How are you a beneficiary?
Did you not take my Social Security number? That's what this is all about, folks. Anytime they want to question you about you having a trust fund that has millions of dollars in it, the easiest thing to say is not Social Security a trust fund? Right? Is there not money in that fund? Okay, then it's a commercial trust action. Anytime your trust fund is used, that's a commercial transaction with a trust fund. Anybody that knows that, Googles will tell you that Social Security is a trust fund. So if you're having problems getting somebody to believe that you got a trust fund that you get your money from, all they got to do is ask Googles. Hey, Googles, what's Social Security? They'll tell you when you go looking into it. That's what a lot of these people that are running into trouble with. The dealership will go, how much money's in your trust, or the mortgage people or the realtors say, well, we don't need to know how much is in your trust. Well, I don't know. How much money does the United States have? Because really, folks, that's the limit of what could be in your trust. How much money does the federal government have? Could you ask the federal government how much money they have and get an answer? You can't do that with the beneficiary. You're not going to get it from the beneficiary any more than you could get it from Joe Biden. Hey, Joe Biden, how much money does America have? You're not going to get told that. Well, okay, if you can't tell me a dollar amount for what America has, can you tell me if we at least have this much money? If we have X amount of dollars to cover this, whatever it is I want to buy? I want to buy a cruise ship. Does the United States have at least enough money to buy a cruise ship? They have enough money to buy an aircraft carrier.
12.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? If anybody ever questions you how much is in your trust, say, about as much as you got in yours, which is everything. Trillions of dollars. Because it's your trust, or your trust collectively, that backs the dollar.
So are you ready for questions?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Charles.
Hey, this is Charles. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Hey, Chris. Hey, Tad. I have been battling with the IRS to take off a lien, and now we're going to a hearing, and they're trying to lien my bank account along with my wife's. I have a hearing coming up on Monday, and I did see that you had a script that you read from when you were in prison, and I wrote most of that down, but I had something to do and didn't get to write it all down. But when I was rereading it, it didn't quite pertain exactly to my situation. Do you have a script that I could use or be emailed?
Hang on, I just switched you over to my speaker so I could hear a little bit.
Speak up, Charles. You're really soft.
Okay. Do you have a script that I could use for challenging jurisdiction for the IRS call?
Okay, it wasn't going to work. Let's try to switch it over to my little boombox speaker so I can hear a little bit better. I've had bad hearing. I spent a couple of years around M1 Abrams tanks while I was in the military. So, yeah, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, I have my volume all the way up. Can y'all hear me any better now?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Better.
Okay. I have an IRS hearing on Monday, and I've gotten one of your scripts from when you were in prison and the one that you were handing out to the other guys. But as far as my situation, I was reading it, and it doesn't really pertain exactly to my situation because it wasn't, I wasn't in jail at the time. I mean, at this time, like you were. But do you have a script that I could be emailed or just let know what it is?
Well, I really haven't gotten conditional acceptance for the IRS yet. I haven't had to go that far. What you're doing is you're getting ready to go in here. I don't know if it's the actual. Is it a hearing with the tax court?
I'm not sure if it's with the tax court or the agent. But I've gotten all kinds of notices, and they're about to levy my bank account along with my wife's.
Yeah, is this a let's see, you're going in for a hearing for to be audited, right?
I'm not sure. It was just failure to file.
Oh, failure to file?
Failure to file, okay.
Oh.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah. Here's. But if you guys don't do the WBN,
You're breaking up, Chris.
Pardon me? Is that better?
Go ahead.
When you guys don't do the BEN, you're under a W-2 or a 1099, which means you're agreeing that you're going to gift this money. That's why it's important to do the W-8. Once you do the W-8, you won't have this problem anymore. But see, the thing is still the same. Here's what you really need to know. When you need to go in there, you need to go in there with the definition of what taxes are. You need to know that the W-2 and the 1040s are in two different tax classes, and even they can't work between the tax classes. This is the stuff you need to know. One's a gift tax and an inheritance tax, right? So that's proof in itself that you've got a look, and I'll read it to y'all. Okay. When you're dealing with taxes, you got to realize what's happening. And the best way to do that and be able to explain this stuff to these jokers is right here, okay? It says right here, that Section 2 of tax returns and forms. 2, list of returns.
Breaking up, Chris.
In order...
There you go.
Let me see here. In order to determine what a tax class 5 is, I found Section 8C, Master File Code, Source, Reason, Hold, Priority, Items, Adjustment, and Credit Reference, NMS Abstract, Under Reporter Process, No Merge Reason, EP Merge Fail Reason, and this is the whole list of where you find that at, right? Is that it's tax class, the W-2, W-4, and the 1099 is tax class 5, okay? And tax class 5 is solely for estate and gift tax. It's for estate and gift tax, okay? So think about that. When you go to a job and you file a W-2, or a lot of people are doing the W-4s, right? Oh, well, you can't do the BEN, but here's the W. You need to do a W-4. No, I need to do a W-8 because W-4 falls in tax class 5. Tax class 5 is estate and gift tax, okay? Now, the Treasury forms 1040, 1040A, 1040EZ, all 1040 forms only relate to tax class 2, which is individual income, true tax class 2. Okay? So think about that. You do your W-2s and your 1099As in one tax class, which is tax class 5, and then you at the end of the year that you got to do a 1040. Or one of the 1040s, right, which is tax class 2. So while you're paying your taxes out through the year, you're gifting them. And then when you do the 1040 at the beginning of the year or before April the 15th, you're saying that these are this is individual income. Income is not wages. You know, a lot of you tax guys already know this. Income and wages is two completely different definitions. All right? Now, you got to remember, too, what's a tax? Taxes are a contribution imposed. A contribution is a gift. Ergo, tax class 5, gift and estate tax. Okay? It's a gift. A contribution is a gift. And to impose means to trick by deception. Now, you're not going to find that definition in the newer dictionaries. I had one guy arguing with me on there on the comment section in the YouTube videos. Well, no, it doesn't say it's a there's no definition that to impose means to trick. Where are you getting that from? Well, try looking in a Noah Webster's 1898 dictionary. Well, it doesn't mean that anymore. Yes, it does. Actually, it meant that before it means what you're saying it meant. So that's what that is. You could go into this thing here, dude. Check this out, man. You could go in there and say, you could blast them with all this. Put all this out. I looked up the definition of taxes. It says taxes are a contribution imposed. I did this on the first video where I'm telling these guys, I'm not going to register the deed. I'm not paying any taxes. Why? Because taxes are a contribution imposed. You could go in there and say that to him. You could go in there and tell them about tax class 5 and tax class 2.
I would like to add.
And you could go in there and tell these jokers, hey, show me a law that says I have to pay taxes.
Well,
if you can show me a law that says I have to pay taxes, I'll pay you whatever you say I need to pay.
Actually, there's something else I want to add to this, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Charles, failure to file, remember, with Carrie, it's Title 27, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Okay, failure to file, what code are you citing? Title 26, 7, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. By the way, are you enforcement or are you administrative? You're enforcement, that's ATF. Oh, you're administrative? Well, where's your authority? Well, you're required to file. Okay, a statement or a return, is that correct? Here's my statement. Like Carrie used to say, my statement, eat shit and die, and sign it, and there you go. That's a statement.
Yeah.
Now, you might want to be a little more diplomatic.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: can I file the W-8 BEN on previous years?
I don't see why not. You file it as an amendment. You could actually take a W-8 down there if you're a 1099. Are you 1099A? Are you a 1099 guy?
Yeah, Charles, do you get a 1099 at the end of the year, or W-2, or what?
I believe a W-2.
So you're working for a business?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd just say, look, I'd take a W-8 in there and backdate it back before they claim you're. Actually, leave the date open, and when you go back in there, say how far back does this go, and then date it. And go, here you go. Here you go.
I wouldn't need to mail it to them.
You could probably hand it to Guy, the one who's doing this interview. Here you go.
Well, it's going to be over the phone.
You could do this. Oh, you did it over the phone? So I'll mail it to you. I don't even know if I'd do that. What you could do is go in there and argue this whole thing, and if they're still going to give you a hassle over it, tell them that you'll have their payment mail by the end of the week, and then send them a 1099A.
Okay, explain that to me again. Send them the W-8 BEN for the other years, and then send them a 1099A for what, the amount?
No, I'm saying normally you'll do a 1099A through your HR. Okay, a lot of HRs aren't accepting them, and they don't realize it, but they're breaking the law by doing what they're doing. But you could go into this hearing not even with a W-8. File that with your employer though, as soon as possible, and do it from the date that you sign it.
So just mail it to them.
All this money that, huh?
So I would mail them the 1099A for the entire year.
What you'll do, you talk to these people on the phone. You say, look, I know that taxes are a contribution imposed. I know the contribution's a gift, and to impose is a trick by deception. I no longer wish to be tricked. I no longer wish to be deceived into gifting you my money. So I'm going to file a W-8 BEN with my employer from this day forward, and tell me what it is that you claim that I owe. Because you got to remember, folks, that every taxpayer is a Cestui Que Trust. It's the trust that owes the money. So if the IRS is saying you, and they actually mean the trust, they're trying to get you to respond. They're trying to get you to act as a pseudo trustee. You cannot do that. You say, look, I can't make decisions for the trust. But if you're claiming that the trust owes $18,000, who am I to say? I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. I will have you a payment. Don't tell them how you're going to pay. Say, I will have this payment in full in the mail to you by the end of the week. What is it I owe? And then write it down. And then what you're going to do is get a 1099A. Put that amount in the 1099A. The lender's going to be the Treasury, and you're going to be the borrower. And what you're going to do is you're going to loan. The Treasury's going to loan you your money from your trust, and you're going to send it in a letter to the IRS agent, whoever you're supposed to mail it to. Who am I? I'll have a payment in the mail by the end of this business week. Who do I send the payment to? And the mailing address, and then send it to him certified mail with a nice little contract via the postal rule. I talked to George Johnson at the hearings on this date. He said that I owed this much money, or the trust owed this much money. So I'm sending this payment. This 1099A is a payment. I'm sending it. You'll notice on the back that it was endorsed by the beneficiary with a beneficiary signature. There you go. If they try to tell you that they can't accept that, but they don't send it back to you, then they have accepted it. So they're going to agree that they accepted it just because you sent it with the postal roll. Okay?
Okay. Charles, does that address your issue?
Okay. It does. Now, with the 1099A, I've called, and there's a delay on getting the 1099A, and they're saying that you can't, that they're behind. Is there another way I could get a 1099A besides calling that? Yeah.
They're backlogged.
So I just got to wait.
But they are sending them out. I'm getting messages from people now that are saying that they're getting them. So they are sending them out. They haven't stopped making them, or they can't, because every financial institution, the military, all that uses that 1099A. They're not going to stop making the 1099A, folks. It's just that y'all have been slamming them for the last 2 months, 3 months, and they hadn't predicted that they were going to need that many forms. So now they're calling up guys going, we need more forms. We need more 1099As and OIDs and all this. Thanks to y'all. Some of you guys are ordering, I think you can order like 1,000 1099As.
Oh, my gosh.
1,000.
No kidding.
That's 3,000 accounts.
Some people have ordered that. Some people have ordered 150. You're not going to use 150 1099As in a year. You're not going to. I mean, what all do you need?
Are they specific to a year? Are they specific to a year?
Yeah, they are. Some of them have like 2,000, and then they got a line, so you can put the year in them. You know what I'm saying?
So would you recommend go ahead and ordering all of them? The 1099A, 1096?
No, you don't really need to do that. The 1099C, folks, is for financial institutions. You call the mortgage company. You say, look, I want you to discharge, or I want you to cancel this debt using a 1099C. Bankruptcies do it all the time. Well, we can't. Yeah, we can do that. Some of them, your mortgage company might say, yeah, we can do that. Or they might say, no, we're not going to do that. And then you'd hit them with the 1099A. But no one has to. You guys, unless you're a financial institution, you don't need to order the 1099Cs. The only reason I talked about the 1099Cs is because the A and C is on the same instruction package.
You mentioned the OID.
Yeah, the OIDs, the 96 and the 1040Vs. You can print off 1040V. You can print off 1199A. That's the direct deposit. You need to order the 1099 OIDs and the 1096s from the IRS. But you're only going to do that if you're acting as a trustee. If you're not going to do anything but pay your bills, buy a car, buy a house, there's no need for you to get all the other forms. Unless you want to have them because the dealership might not have them. Then go ahead and order them. Or if you're wanting
be
a trustee, if you're wanting to be a trustee for someone, then you're going to want the OIDs and the 96s.
Now, if somebody pays you and somebody gives you the 1099A, like for an accident, then you would need all them, right?
Yeah. But you can have them ordered.
All right, so hang on. So Charles, does this address your question? Because we have a lot of people waiting.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I just got to go
Right.
research this weekend and figure it out. I appreciate it. Thank you, Chris.
Get
Thank
the
you, Ted.
research in it. Due diligence, bro. That's where you're going to beat this at.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to England now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go to England.
Hello, y'all. How are you doing?
Hey there. Hey, Chris, this is the message that I read to you before we got on about the other group.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that brought it to me. So go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm actually with the KGJA, which is the Kentucky General Jural Assembly. And I have got 4 questions, and actually 5. I will make it very quick, and you all already answered one. First question, Chris, since I don't live too far from y'all, what car lot specific did you use that accepted this?
Okay. The car lot that did it, I'm going to tell y'all, but you're wasting your time if you're trying to get a hold of them. Because I explained it in the video. The car lot that I used was called Stennis Chevrolet. It's in Newport, Tennessee. Now, you can call them, but they're going to shoot you down. This is the once I bought the vehicles there, they started doing this with all their employees. Their night janitor had a brand new truck. Everybody that worked there had brand new cars. This is what I say. You can't be greedy. You can't be greedy with this. And what happened was the IRS, some IRS auditors came in, and some Secret Service guys came in from the Treasury and scared them up. They scared them up. So or I would be having you guys, everybody, come to Newport and buy cars. But like I said, they got greedy. The owner got greedy. Now, from what I understand after talking to the salesman that sold me the car after I got out of prison, he said they don't even want you around here. So it's not my fault. You guys are the ones that got greedy. He said he told me that the owner wasn't even fined. They never even fined this guy. But what they did was they scared the crap out of him. Don't do this again. And that's why I said at the first video. The first video I even talked about a 1099A. I said, look, you cannot get greedy with this.
I've been through all of your videos.
Like the guy that was buying them every other month. He got greedy. When you get
next thing that man come and said 1 per year.
Yeah. That's where that was from.
Yes.
But I get messages, at least 1 or 2 every day. Somebody else that's got a dealership that's accepted it, or somebody else that's got somebody that's working on it, or somebody that bought a car from a friend or a neighbor, and they're waiting on the money. So there are people having success.
So our best bet is to keep it local?
Yeah. Go to your local area. Just talk about getting a new car. And that's great. If you can get a new car, that's fantastic. But what this is really about is getting them to reject you. Okay, now you're in an office, so I'm just going to send you conditional acceptance. Now I'm going to own your car. I'm going to own your car lot. That's what this is about. And see, if enough people do this, if enough people started doing these conditional acceptances, and these dealerships would go, damn, maybe I better try this thing that they're talking about.
Okay.
Then to get a freaking multi-million-dollar lien put on my dealership. Because when you go in a dealership and the dealership rejects you, well, then the owners rejected you, and the principals rejected you, and the general salesman rejected you, and the general finance managers rejected you. There's 3 people in a principal there that you can now turn around and do a $6 million conditional acceptance on all of them. Now we're talking about $24 million in one car lot. Maybe we ought to do this next time Guy comes in here. That's what this is about. It's about getting rejection. This is one time when rejection's better than getting what you're asking for. There's a lot of people out here that are going from dealership to dealership, trying to do this process, and they've forgotten what it is that they really need to be doing. That's getting rejected. I mean, you're going to go around to 12, 13 car lots and get rejected, and you're going to go to 3 or 4 of them before you even take a picture of the application. Yeah,
right.
I talked to some people. Hey, I went to the dealership and they turned me down. Okay, fantastic. Did you take a picture of the application? Oh, no, man, I forgot. Well, then you just lost your opportunity to send these people conditional acceptance because you don't even have proof that they denied your offer. So what was the other question?
Yeah. Okay, and I've got that in big bold letters, and I have that written because you said that's your proof. Next question. I'm sorry, I don't want to hold anyone up. I take notes, a lot of notes on your calls. What do we do about the IRS claiming that they don't have any forms and carbon copies available? I actually went to my local IRS, and in person. The lady knew, ironically, exactly what I was wanting, and she informed me that they haven't kept them forms here in years. And then when we're, like, with the IRS is now claiming that they do not have, like, 1099As and several others forms in carbon copies available if you go to order them offline. So is there a workaround with that?
There are. I was at the site just yesterday. What y'all need to do, a lot of people go, well, I don't see them anywhere on the IRS's site. Well, you're not looking in the right place.
Oh, I went to the right place, but some people are getting, there are 2.
Yeah.
There are 2 places, and it does say, like, the red and white scannable, and it's carbon copied. It's order specific. You just have to look.
Yeah. What it is if you do a Google search, and the question that you ask in Google search is, how do I order IRS business forms? Business forms.
Business forms,
IRS
of course.
business forms. Okay? That's why people aren't finding them. Because, see, you got to realize that when you read the directions on this, it says who must file. Well, it's the courts that file. It's the financial institutions that file. It's the post office and the United States Postal Service, Postmaster Generals, and it's the military, right? They're the ones that order these forms. They're not used to Joe Q. Public going, I need 25 1099A. Because if you read the instructions, it says who files them. Someone that does bank.
Hello, Chris.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Someone who does bank, and that's the last we heard.
They're for banking. That's why I'm telling you. People go, can I use the 1099A to do this or that? No, you can't. Why? Because you're not a banking institution. That's why you get the people who deal in financing. A dealership deals in financing. They deal in banking. Banks deal in banking. Credit unions deal in banking. Those are the ones who order them. So they're under business forms. I've done this 2 or 3 times. somebody go, "That's not on there." I looked all over and I can't find it nowhere, and I go right into it every time. And then I take.
Well, it's on there, but the IRS is now sending cards out to people in place of what you've ordered, stating that they no longer have any in stock.
Yeah, they don't, because everybody's ordering them. There's been over 1 million people view my channel. And now,
congratulations!
If you've got 200,000, just a quarter of the people that's viewed this, ordering 150 and 150, even 25, you're slamming them. They're not used to that. Well, they know every year how many. They know every year how many forms they need to print, because they don't want to overprint and have a bunch of stuff left over. Now all of a sudden you got 500,000 freaking people going, "Hey, I want this form." Everybody's worn out. My prison friends were ordering them in November. They were ordering them from the prison, and they were sending them to my house. I've got 1099As, and I've got OIDs, and people go, "Can I get them?" No, you can't, because I'm not even using these. The ones that I've got here are for my friends that are in prison, and we're going to use them when we go after the bond. So I'm not even using them. I've got them for a reason. I can't give them away. I wish I could, because I'd like to see a lot of people out here do this. But I've got to hold on to what I got for them, because we're about to blow that up within the next month and a half. We're going to have this prison thing pretty much squared away. We're going to start sending out our own documents, and I've got power of attorney for most of those guys already. They've sent me their power of attorney from the prison. Do this paperwork for us and sign our signature. That's something else I'm going to get real busy at in the next month or so. Having to do all this, because I got about a dozen friends that I'm about to help get released from prison, and I'm going to share that information too. So, what was the other question?
How long can we use the 1099A and 1099C from the previous year? Like, we're in 2022, but is there an exact time that the 2021 expires, or did they already?
Well, you're supposed to have them done. The last date that you can date a 2021 is April the 31st. Okay, so you can use them. You can use the 21 all through this month. But check it out. You can use them all through the year. You can use them up to the end of the year, because they're going to be used if they go past April the 31st. They're going to be used as an amended 1099.
So we can use them up to December 31st, and they're amended.
Yeah, they're treated as an amended 1099A.
Okay, thank you.
And you got to think about it this way: if they're so short ordered for the 2022s, then they're going to have to allow.
They're going to have to what?
They're going to have to allow those 2021s to go through. They may use them. They may just get them and use them as if they are a 2022. They may put 2 over the 1 when you send them in, because they know that they don't have enough of them out for them to be used. It wouldn't surprise me one bit by the middle of next month if they don't have them out in quantity, that they're going, it's okay, you can use the 2021s. Until we can get you some 2022s, you can use 2021s.
Okay. Next question. If you're 70 years old and at the end of your trust, how do you cash in on it, and do you know anyone who has?
You're not at the end of your trust at 70. You're at the end of your trust dead. Okay? When
Okay.
you die at the end of your trust. Here's what happens when you turn 65, okay, and you go down there and you apply, or actually what you're doing is you're recontracting. You're recontracting to allow the Social Security Administration to continue to be your trustee until you're dead. When you do that, you don't have the right anymore to go, I want to see an on-ledger and an off-ledger account of the trust. You only have the right to do that when it matures at 65, as long as you don't recontract. Once you recontract, it's just like it was when you were 60 or 64 and a half or whatever the case may be. You have to do this, and you can't use it. You use that Social Security number after you're 65, and then you've recontracted.
Okay.
The beauty of it is like my mother, she's 74. She's 74. She can use her trust as I'm using mine. If I can use my trust to buy a car, if I can use my trust to buy a house, my mom is 74, 75 years old, can use her trust to buy her insulin. And that's what she's doing. She finally got down with the program, and she's got her insulin producer, her insulin people, to accept the 1099-A for her insulin, for a year's worth of insulin. Medicare only paid 7.5 months. After that, my mom had to pay for her own insulin, 5.5 months of her own insulin.
Wow.
And I don't know if you guys know how much that stuff is, but it's expensive.
All right. So, does that answer your questions?
Yes, sir. I got one more, and I do apologize. We can use the 1099As for tickets, fines in the de facto court system. I already know that. Is there a minimum amount that has to be that it has to be for it to be able to be used within the de facto? Like if you receive a seatbelt ticket, and I know it's $600 is the okay. That's it.
$600.
Thank y'all so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, you're next.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Oh, all right. Thank you. I just wanted to express gratitude first before anything and go right into my question. I don't want to take up too much time. I just wanted to ask, because I'm actually in the process with the 1099-A, so I'm going to start writing conditional acceptance now. I wanted to ask you, Chris, with the conditional acceptance, the 1099-A, you just mentioned that we have to take a picture of the credit application. So if you don't take the picture of the credit application, you cannot do the conditional acceptance anymore.
You don't have any proof. You don't have any. If you don't take a picture of that application where you signed it as a beneficiary, then you can't turn around. That picture that you're going to take of the application, you're going to go have it printed off. Or you can send it to your computer or whatever and print it off. That way, you've got proof that you signed as a beneficiary, which makes it a Social Security numbers on there. It's going to make it as a trust action. Well, you're going to use that as Exhibit A in your conditional acceptance. Exhibit A. I went to the dealership. I filled out a application. I took a photograph of it, and this is a photographic representation of the application. Now, I was rejected. They refused to be my trustee after they accepted to be my trustee. They failed in their fiduciary obligation to the trust. That's why you have to have that, so you can prove. I mean, if you don't have it, how are you going to be able to prove that they were in a fiduciary obligation?
Yeah.
You won't be able to.
Okay.
So I suggest that before you go running around a bunch of dealerships and getting rejected 2 or 3 times, and then come back and go, what am I supposed to do, man? I've been everywhere trying to get this. Who am I supposed to send a conditional acceptance to? And I always ask everybody, did you get a picture of the, of the application? Oh, no, I didn't do that. Well, you're kind of in the wind on that one. And all I can suggest is go to another dealership and this time take a picture of it in case they turn you down.
So is there anything else that you would recommend when going to the dealership, just, preliminary before I even go in, and waste a bunch of time? I know now to take a picture of the credit application, but other than that, is there anything that you would suggest?
Well, what you need to do, here's where you're going to find the most success at using this 1099-A with anything, with the courts, with the mortgage company, with the realtors and the dealerships. Know what you're talking about. Going to these people with confidence. Everybody always wants to know, well, what did you write on the piece of paper that they told the accountant? Well, what I wrote on the piece of paper was how well I could speak of what it is they're going to do. Look, I am the beneficiary of a rather large, a multi-million-dollar trust fund. Enclosed, you'll find a 1099-A where the treasury is the borrower, or the treasury is the lender, and I am the beneficiary, are the borrower. I can buy anything you got on this lot, anything. You can put your most expensive car, pull it right out of the showroom. Go get that thing gassed up and clean it up real good because I'm about to get in it. I can afford it. I got millions of dollars in my trust. You ain't got a car on this lot I can buy. But I told him, I said, this is how you're going to do this. You're in a fiduciary obligation because you accepted the application with a trust number on it. It's in your best interest to suit my best interest. And by doing that, you can take the 1099-A, attach it with an OID, claim it on a 96, a 1096, and then fill out a pay voucher for it, a 1099, or 1040B pay voucher.
Okay.
Put this all in a nice, neat little packet and send it to 1111 Constitutional Boulevard, or Constitutional Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C., and roughly within 45 days, you will get a check from the Treasury to pay for this. And this lady that was their accountant was so impressed with a half-a-page letter of what I explained that she looked into it. And by looking into it, she said, yeah, we could do this. Let's try it. We haven't done this before, but let's try it. I believe this will work. That's all it took. But see, if you go in there and you talk to these shyster car salesmen, right? They don't know nothing about it. I was talking with, was that last week, Tad, where we had what was his name on there? It might have been in the other group that I got.
Okay, I don't recall.
Yeah, they were talking about. I'll ask David about that next time I talk to him. But he said go to. Don't even fool with them. He said go get an order for the car, and take it straight to. What was it? Some trustee, some kind of trustee. Shit, I had the name right on the tip of my tongue. He said you do the same thing with a mortgage, but instead of trying to go through the bank, go straight to the trustee. They'll know what you're talking about, and Damn, I wish I could remember specifically what it was he said. Shit, I can't remember. Yeah, it was in the other group that I deal with. I'll find out. Maybe next week we'll be able to talk about it. I'll be able to tell you exactly. But I didn't need to do that. All I had to do was get rid of the middleman, which was the car salesman. Okay, you don't want to believe it? Fine. Here, take a little time out. What's it worth to you? The worst case scenario is you're not going to make a commission. The best case scenario is you're going to sell a car at the window sticker price. We're not even haggling. You're going to get your commission, buddy. And it was enough for him to call. So the best thing to do is know what you're talking about. Be able to explain that. Be able to explain the process that they're going through. If you can explain the process well enough for the person who is going to get this information, can get their head wrapped around it, they're going to go, this guy knows what he's talking about. That sounds very doable. Let's give it a try. That's where it's at. But did that help, buddy?
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm always on the calls. I appreciate you, Todd and Chris. You have a wonderful night, all right?
All right, brother. Thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Let's see. King Daniel. Go ahead.
Hey y'all, this is Pam. I talked to y'all a couple of weeks ago. How y'all doing?
Good, Pam. How are you?
I'm good. I've got a specific question for you. You got a situation going on with a vehicle, a Chrysler Corporation, actually. I'm trying to get my payment cleared. I did send them a 1099. I let it sit for 30 days. I sent them just a notice of what I was doing. And now, after 30 days, I did start a conditional acceptance process. Now, a year ago, I had also done this, but I didn't know that it didn't come at them in the beneficiary role. Now I'm coming at them with status and standing and a beneficiary role. And I just they received everything on the 7th. According to the 72-hour banking rule, they have already agreed to the terms, much less the postal rule. So I've got that as well. And I did give notice to the Attorney General as well. Here's my question. Yesterday, I did receive in the mail from the financing company just their form letter that you're late on your payment, and in such and such days, if you don't pay this, then we're going to, repossess your automobile. So my question is, I'm already in the midst of a conditional acceptance with their corporate office, who they are not recognizing. It's weird. But the finance company is coming after me with this. I did send the conditional acceptance to them. I sent them a copy. So my question is, I need to respond to this, this offer that I just received, even though it was just a standard form. How would you recommend that I proceed with, following up with them within the 72-hour banking rule?
You can always send a payment without prejudice. If you send, I wouldn't even send a whole payment. I'd send a partial payment, and I would put under without prejudice, under fraud, menace, and duress, because they're making you pay it, or they're going to take it from you. They're extorting you. Actually, you can just do extortion. Fraud and extortion. You're committing fraud by extorting this from me. You sent me a threatening letter saying if I don't make for something I've already paid for, right? You know that you've already paid for that car. They know it too. They just don't think you know. If you send, just to keep them from taking your car, send them a partial payment, and then send it under fraud. And extortion. Right? You could even
okay. Well, I lost my nursing career about a few months ago because I wouldn't take the jab. So it's $10 a partial payment.
Yeah. Technically, it is a partial payment. Yeah, I'm sending a partial payment, but only under fraud, only under extortion and fraud. See if they send it back to you. You made an offer. You sent them a 1099-A, right?
Last year, I sent them a security bond that I won't really go into, and then a coupon. This year, I sent them a coupon properly endorsed and a 1099.
1099-A?
Yes.
It's a 1099-A. Well, then you've already sent them. You've already paid them full.
But I sent it to the corporate office, who they are just saying that we don't even know who that is. And I told them the other day, I said, well, if you look at the back of every statement that you send to every customer every month, you flip that over. If you go down, towards the bottom right, you'll see where you list your corporate office. That's who I sent it to. Well, we're just not familiar with that. I'm just like, it's like I've been in the twilight zone.
How are you not familiar with the place that pays you your check?
But I'm not kidding. It's been wild. It's just been, it's almost like I'm in the twilight zone.
They never returned the coupon or the 1099-A, right?
No, and you can bet, because and I'll share with you my I've even made a template out of it so far. I'll share with you my conditional acceptance, and I put in bold letters all the times that their corporate officials have accepted and retained as trustees, one after another and after another, and they have already, acquiesced that within their own 72-hour rule. I called them today to give them opportunity to, if they had any, rebuttals or whatever. I couldn't even get through. So I've got that recorded. I do. But it's just wild.
If they haven't returned the coupon or the 1099-A, they've accepted your payment. I wouldn't even send them a partial payment. That's like saying, you actually helped them double dip. They got twice the money if you sent the coupon and the 1099-A.
Well, and in the conditional acceptance that I sent, I did mention something about being a cash cow, and so I do have that in there that they have already acquiesced to.
Yeah, they have. You can't get corporate to talk to the people that you're attached to, right? If they come and take your car, that's theft.
Yeah, and I did take my license plate off, and I put private trust property, and I put my private trust number on there. And, they're going to have a hard time identifying that if they want to take it.
Yeah. I'd probably try and work between those two agencies. I'd say, look, you don't realize what you're getting into. Actually, when did they say you had to have the payment?
Like the 16th of this month.
Yeah. Or they was going to repo it, right?
Right. And, so, yeah,
Are you conditional? How far along are you with the conditional acceptance?
They received my. I sent the security instruments or the valuable consideration. Okay, I sent those. They received them. They had them over 30 days when they received my conditional acceptance on the 7th of this month.
Okay. And how many days did they have?
I gave them 15 days, and then I'm going to give them 10 days. I'm going to give them the 3. You know how you give them the 3? So I'm not going to change anything about the conditional acceptance, not one word except for second notice and then third notice. And then I'm going to
I think
go
I
on.
don't even know if I'd make it notice. They've already been noticed. The conditional acceptance is a notice. It's a final notice. Meet these conditions, or you give me your power of attorney. I wouldn't think. I wouldn't even worry about this 3 notice thing. They've already.
Well,
been,
you know how.
and they've already,
You know how on your oh gosh, my mind is. I can't remember the next step. The assignment document. You had said something about, you had done UCC stuff or whatever the example was. I'm not doing UCC.
No.
But
no
I wanted to make sure that they had no room for any kind of rebuttal by doing a full administrative process. So you don't think that's necessary?
It's not necessary. They've already contractually agreed. They didn't meet the terms. They contractually agreed to give you their power of attorney to create the lien. There's nothing else you need to do. So
well, there you go.
It's a joke. Once it happens, it happens. There ain't no do this and do that and give you a bunch of chances. It don't work like that. You've already agreed. Why should I give you here's the conditions. You got 10 days. But if you don't make 10 days, I'm going to give you another notice for another 10 days. And it doesn't work like that. They've already contractually agreed to give you their power of attorney. What do you need more? What more do you need? What I would do is make the notices a claim of lien, okay, and send them to the headquarters and this other place. Everybody that's involved, give them a copy. The same place you sent the conditional acceptances to the same people. Send them certified copies of the claim of lien that you're going to put together to give to the Treasury. See if that don't get their attention.
And do you think I should wait the 15 days? Just on the 15 days, go ahead and send them a certified copy of the notice of claim at that point?
If they haven't met the terms, what was the date on the conditional acceptance?
Let's a week before. It got there really quick. Let's say a week before.
A week before today?
No, say March the 1st. Hold on, I'm not looking right at it.
What's the date that it was notarized?
Hang on just a jiffy.
Count your days past the notice.
March the 3rd. March 3rd.
March the 3rd, it was notarized?
Yes.
And how many days did you give them?
Gave them 15 days.
Okay, so that'd be 18. By the 18th.
March 18th.
How long do you think it'd take to mail the claim of lien?
Well, this went really quick. So the 3rd, they got it on the 7th, so it only took 4 days, and I just sent it regular mail, certified to receipt.
Yeah. Do that with the claim of lien. You can do the claim of liens. You can do the claim of liens now. If they can meet the conditions, then you can just pull the claims away. But you can do them now and get them sent out.
Right. You mean go ahead and get it done, but wait, or go ahead and send it out?
Do the claim and liens tomorrow, and then put them in the mail tomorrow. Because even though their time isn't up, you can notice them. You can send them the claim and lien. And then they'll go, damn, we ain't even got this shit straight, and she's already in this. Well, if they can meet the conditions, pretty sure they can, then you can pull those claim liens back. But if you do them now, they're going to know that they're already hit before they have the chance to come get the car. If they've been noticed, and you can prove that they were noticed, and they came and got the car anyway, you know what I'm saying?
So because they sent me that thing, that form letter, that really has, that steps up the process, and we're going to go and do a claim of lien. They've just given me a new offer, and I'm not accepting that. So,
yeah, don't accept no offers. Okay.
Yeah, I think I may even call them tomorrow and tell them this form letter you sent, I do not accept it, and I'll record it, and I'll do a small little affidavit on that as well. So,
all right.
There you go then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You bet. Okay, 916 area code. I believe that's California. Go ahead. Okay. They just left the call. 843 area code. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a quick question. Hey, so I have a vehicle that has a, what do you call it? I forgot the word, but I'm not going to register it. And I just need to know, I guess, how to go about it the right way, because I don't want to get, pulled over all the time.
I think you're talking about the...
It has a salvage title. Yeah, it has a salvage title.
And
pretty much.
Oh, okay, salvage title. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, rebuilt title, excuse me. Mm-hmm.
Chris? Uh-oh. Chris?
Chris, I've been waiting on you now.
All right, I think we lost him, so hang on.
Okay. Chris, I've been waiting on you all night. Hey, everybody. I mean, y'all can hear me. I hope you're having a good night.
Okay, Chris, are you there?
Yeah, we got dropped.
Okay, ma'am, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, hi, Chris. I'm Empress. I have a question about a car, vehicle. It has a rebuilt title, and in Georgia's kind of crazy where you have to just do, just run around the ring to get a vehicle on the road. So I'm not going to register it, and I want to drive it, but I don't want to be getting pulled over all the time.
So how you want to handle you're going to make your own tags, right?
Yes, I'm willing to make my own tags.
Okay. You're more often, cops are starting to figure this out, and they don't want the hassle. if you're going to do this and put your own tags on there, you're going to have to be ready to talk to these guys. If and when, because they are, sooner or later, they're going to pull you over.
Okay.
Especially when you first start this. You're going to get pulled over, and if you handle it right, be respectful, and but tell them that you're, go through the thing, they're going to say, are you a sovereign citizen? That's the first thing they're going to ask. No, I'm not a sovereign citizen. You can't be a sovereign and a citizen. I am a queen. I'm not driving. I'm traveling. This is not a commercial. Go through that whole thing if you want, because they've heard it. They've heard it. What's going to happen is you're going to get stopped once or twice. And if you play it right, you're going to pull away every time. And then after a couple of times, they're going to have you in their NCIC computer. If you tell them you're a sovereign citizen, you just got put on a list. If you tell them, I am a sovereign, no, I'm not a sovereign citizen, I'm a sovereign. I am a child of the Most High. My brother's Jesus Christ. He's the King of Kings. Well, that makes me a king, so I'm a sovereign. If you know how to talk to these people and do it respectfully, they're going to let you go. They may piddle fart around a little bit, but they're going to let you go. After a couple times getting stopped, you're going to be identified as one of those. Then from there on out, they may pull you over from time to time, but they probably won't even get out of the car.
Got it.
If they ask you for insurance, tell them you have it. I've got it. Well, can I see it? Well, sure. And show them the 1099-A. Tell them you're a multimillionaire and you're self-insured. They're probably going to treat you a whole lot different once you tell them you're a multimillionaire. I'm a multimillionaire. I don't go with Allstate. I'm a multimillionaire. I am insured myself for millions of dollars. You'll beat that.
Now,
right there. Most states want you to have that insurance. They want you to have the insurance more than they do the license. So tell them that. Keep that in the glove box.
Now, I do know this
Don't
also.
Get shot, they like to shoot people.
Yeah, I ain't trying to get shot. I know that there is a paperwork that I can get from the Department of Motor Vehicles that says I am exempt from paying insurance. I'm going to look into that as well too.
Or you take financial responsibility. I think that's what they call it in Oregon.
Okay, yeah. That's it.
Well, you do that with the 1099-A.
Okay, got it. Awesome. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night.
All right, thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, Albany, New York, go ahead.
Hey, gentlemen. Thank you again for doing this. I have a question that pretty much goes along with what the young lady who just spoke before me was asking. I'm working on getting a car as well with the MCO and wondering about the registration, and it sounds like we can avoid registering the car. I'd like to know a little bit more about that, and also if you'd recommend putting the car into a trust, if that's even necessary.
I don't think that's necessary. We've talked about that briefly with the brokerage. Actually, creating these trusts and then have the trust own the car. And I don't know if that's such a great idea because then you're putting it into a fictitious entity. A fictitious entity owns it now. I think it's better off that a flesh and blood owns it personally, because then you're exempt from all that other crap. That's what they want you to do. As far as registering it goes, I wouldn't do it. I'm not registering anything. Because when you do, you're giving it away.
Yeah.
And that's how you can respond. Pull out Black's Law, 9th edition, revised, and look up the word registration. It says in there, to prepare a security for sale to the public. I don't intend to sell this car to the public. It's mine. Why would I do that? And then drive it around and pay you rent to do it. Wheel tax and all that other crap. No. Same thing with property. Why would I want to sell you? Why would I want to buy something that I paid with, gold and silver, and then give it to you so you can charge me rent, yearly rent? That doesn't make any sense at all. I don't think you should register anything. Homes, cars, boats, guns, children, because that's what happens.
Yep.
Think about this. When you register, take your child to school, by definition, you just sold them to the public. And then you wonder why DCS is kicking in your door. We're here to get that child we own. You know, to me, registration is a bad idea. I would avoid it every chance you can get.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Besides, that also gives them the right to tow it. They want to take you to jail or something like that, or whatever. You leave it on the side of the road too long, they tow it. Now you're paying some shyster to put your car behind a fence for $120 a day.
Right. Is it necessary to have the manufacturer's certificate in order to keep it out of the system?
No. It'd be nice to have it. I would prefer to have it, but it's not necessary.
Okay.
All you need is a bill of sale.
Okay.
If Tad wanted to sell me a car he didn't have a title or anything on, anything. Say he had a car up there at his house in his backyard up on blocks. Hey, Chris, I'm going to sell you this car here. Go down to the Manny Moe and Jack's and buy 4 tires and rims and slap it on there, and by the time you get back, I'll have you a bill of sale ready. That's all I need. All I need is a bill of sale. Between me and him, we got it the contract. Possession is 9/10 of the law. That means if he owns that car, he owns at least 9/10 of it, which is controlling. He's got the controlling percentage. He can sell it to me. I'll drive around in a car any day with just the bill of sale. That's all I need. I can prove to you that I own this. If you can take the VIN number off of it and prove to me that it isn't stolen, or that it is stolen, then this is mine. You can run the VIN all you want. If it's not a stolen, if Tad says this ain't a stolen car, I just don't have a title to it, I don't care. Just sign that contract with me. I'll drive home tomorrow. That's all you have to do. But it's preferable.
What if somebody either does or does not have a license? How does that play into anything?
License is permission from a competent authority to do an act. Without said permission would be illegal, a trespass, or a tort.
Mm-hmm.
A license is permission to break the law. To me, a license is out of the question. You can have one, but it's not really you that has it, it's the trust. Listen, folks, the license is issued to your trust, not to you. So it's your trust that's driving. Now, how can a piece of plastic drive? It can't. But what they're doing is they're giving you permission to to do something that they say is illegal without that permission. Okay? And you can say it's illegal to drive without a license, and you can say it's illegal to fish and hunt without a license, but are you telling me it's illegal to get married without a license? That blows that whole theory completely out of the water. If you want to buy a car and ride around with the bill of sale, I had a friend in high school up in Chicago, and his dad owned a garage, and he would drive. He was 14 years old, driving around with the garage tags on different cars, all through high school. Never had a license. Had a different car every 3 months. He's driving a different car. Never had a license. We're driving around Chicago. You know, it's not like back here in the woods where you don't cop unless he's on his way home. You know, we were all over Chicago, out on the expressway and everything. He didn't need it. We graduated, he still didn't have a license.
So how would you handle I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how would you handle the dealership when they are insisting that they see a license, even before selling the car? You know, when they're going through the paperwork. Reasons.
They do that for insurance reasons. They want to make sure you have a license. Look, you can go down in most states. I know you can in Tennessee. You can go down and have DUIs and have suspended license and all that, and go down and register a car and get tagged for it. Walk right out of the courthouse with brand new tags. I know dealerships do that, but the reason they want you to do that is because they have drive-out insurance. If you went in there and said, "Look, what do I need your insurance for? I've got insurance right here," they're not even going to care about your license. Not if you already got a deal. You own it.
Okay.
If you go into a dealership and you went in there with $50,000 cash and dropped it on the table and said, "I want to buy that car out there," you think they're going to care about whether you got a license or not?
I wouldn't think so, no.
No. The only reason they're asking for a license is because they've got insurance that covers that car for a couple of days. That gives you a chance to get insurance. That's why they need to see the license, so that when they turn it to their insurance company, the insurance company knows that they ain't giving a car to an unlicensed driver.
But once the 1099 goes through, then it's a non-issue, sounds like.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate all of your help.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. 207 area code. A realty company. 207.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Hey there.
Good evening.
Hey, my name is Luke. I'm here in Maine. And I had a couple questions. I won't take up too much time. Mainly, Chris, I was wondering what if you could explain the process on letters of credit.
Well, what I do with the letter of credit is, once you have to know that you have so much money. When you're doing the 1099A and you're trying to get a car or a house, you can pretty much rest assured that you got enough money in your trust to cover an $80,000 car or a $120,000, $180,000 home. But what you may not know is how much you've got if you've got a whole lot of money, like in the millions. The reason that I do letters of credit is because I have a contract with the Treasury, and actually two contracts, and they agree that they owe me $132.6 million. So I can say that I got at least X amount of dollars in my trust. I know that I'm covered up to that much. I wanted to write a letter of credit for $125 million. I could do that because I know I'm covered. I know that there's at least that much on the balance. Where if you tried it, you may not have. If you're in your 20s or you're in your 30s, and they're only putting $1 million in your trust every year, well, then you're not going to have $100 million in your trust. Which means if you tried to write a letter of credit for $100 million, they'd get you. They'd get you for basically like an overdraft, writing bad checks or whatever kind of thing. The letter of credit goes out. Like, for instance, my rapper buddy, Wacko. I talked to him. He said I could use his name if I wanted to. I could refer to him. Yeah, Wacko. If any of y'all know who I'm talking about, he was one of the trio of Juvenile from the New Orleans NOLA. I met him when I was in jail. We became real good friends, and when I got out, he wanted to open another recording studio in Miami. He's got one in New Orleans and one in Atlanta. But he really didn't have enough money to get started. So I told him, come on up to Tennessee, and let me talk to you about a few things. We'll go get a contract. What I did is I created a contract with him. He sold me a percentage of the production company. And by doing that, I could because we got a contract now, I could write him a letter of credit. He took the letter of credit and went to the Federal Reserve Bank in Atlanta and went in with the letter of credit and a copy of the contract and said, I need these funds. Well, when they got down there, they said, okay, it's going to take a couple of days, but we'll get a hold of you. We'll call you the next 2 or 3 days and let you know when it's ready. What they did is they took that letter of credit and that contract and they looked me up. And when they looked me up, they realized that I knew that I had at least X amount of dollars in the trust fund because of the contracts that I have with the Treasury. Now, after doing that, they said, okay. They called him about 3 days later to come back up to the bank and let us know if you want this in cash. We have to have a couple of days to get the funds together, or we can give it to you in a reserve bank draft, or we can transfer it to any bank you want us to. He's like, man, I'm in Atlanta. I'm not going to drive around with $2 million. He said he didn't even want to check, so just send it to his bank. So he had it sent to his bank, and by the time he got back down to Miami, the money was already there. That's how that works. You can't just, you could. You could write a letter of credit and do the same thing I did, but you're really taking a chance. They may look into it and go, how does this guy even know he's got this much money in here? And then there's going to be some shenanigans. So you're better off. That's why I say, if you're all hot and ready to do this, get this car with the 1099A. No, what you really need to do is get rejected. Then do the conditional acceptance. Do the conditional acceptance contract with the Treasury. If they don't answer if they don't call, get back a hold of you in 45 days, you have a contract. If they didn't send you the money, then there's only one place it could go, and that's into your trust. Now you know that you have at least X amount of millions of dollars in your trust. You can write a letter of credit. Does that make any sense?
It does. So basically the key is you're saying you have to really know at least you have a certain amount in there before you can write something out of it.
Yeah. Say you had $10 million and you went to the Social Security Administration and said, I'm gonna put this $10 million in my trust. They'll take that $10 million and put it right in your trust. And then you can get a letter of credit up to $10 million out of that trust. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you have to know it's there first before you can actually write something out. It's like having a checking account with no money in it, and you see you write a check. How can you? You have no money in it.
Yeah, and think about that. Some of the older folks that are up in their 60s, they paid $80,000 in to Social Security, maybe $100,000, maybe $200,000. They've been working their whole life. Well, they know that they've got at least $50,000 in there. They can go write a letter of credit to the bank for $50,000, and the Social Security Administration is going to go, yeah, we can cover this because these people know they got $200,000 in their trust. They'll do that because they're trustees in the fiduciary obligation. That's why this has worked for folks. That's why a lot of the real estate people already know that the 1099-A is a doable thing. Some of them have already done it.
Yeah.
All right. So does that answer your question?
Yes. I have one other question.
Quickly, please.
Okay, sorry. So, I know you didn't ever touch it, but about a promissory note. Is there any way you could write a promissory note and cash it in?
I've heard people doing this, but I've never seen it work for myself. And what I always say with a question like that is try it. Try it, man. What's the worst case scenario? You get in a little trouble. You could. Always investigate it. Do some due diligence. Look into it, man. There's people that claim they have. I've never seen it, and would I try it? I'm game to try anything, man.
Yeah, if you don't try, you won't know. Yeah.
That's absolutely. Like with this 1099-A process, folks. You can do this, and you're not going to jail. You're not going to jail for using a 1099-A to get them to buy you a car or a house. You're not going to jail for that. You're going to be warned first. If you've done anything wrong, they're going to warn you first. Then the next time you do it, they're going to charge you. Let's hit him with the frivolous filing. Maybe he'll stop now. You know what I mean? They may do that a couple of times before they finally say, this guy ain't stopping, go get him. But you're going to get free try. You're going to get a free go at anything. But they're not even going to
go after you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, they're not even going to go after you anyways because you're not the one actually filing these documents because you're the beneficiary.
You're not. That's how I beat him in tax court. I didn't file these. Your boss did. Your Secretary of the Treasury filed these. If it's a frivolous filing, go get your boss. That's exactly what it's about.
And the 1040. The 1040B. We have to file those. I mean, the person has to file those. Correct? Those have to be filed along with the other 3 documents.
Yeah, send them in with your documents, and that's your pay voucher.
Okay, so you always have to send one in.
Yeah.
Without one of those, they won't give you the money.
Nope, they won't.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
Okay, 562 area code. You're next.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi,
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. I want to, if I may, comment very quickly. This is Yvonne Marie, and with regards to the lady that changed her license plate and she's trying to keep her car from being revoked, what about covering up the VIN number as well so that they can't see it and identify it if she can't, keep it in a garage away from them? That's just a comment I wanted to make. if that was something that would work. And then I saw someone post in regards to the 1099As that they are able to be purchased at either like Office Depot or Staples. I don't know if that's true, but for people who are, urgently needing one, would that work, Chris?
Yeah, yeah. You can get them at the office supply stores, but make sure that they've got the copy B and copy C. Some of these places you can go to, they're just going to have copy A, and
okay.
Apparently it's scannable too. But when you buy them at the office places, a lot of times they don't have the copy B and copy C. The best thing to do is wait. They are getting them out. Every day I get 2 or 3 people go, well, I got mine, or somebody will comment on Facebook, man, I've been waiting 6 weeks and still ain't got mine. And somebody go, well, I just got mine yesterday.
Yes,
and then there's people that are asking. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I received mine. I only asked for 10, though, because I knew that pretty much that was going to happen with everyone. But I was just thinking for someone who was looking urgently to get one, like you said, if they wanted to ask you, you couldn't give them. But if somebody really needed something, that was another source that wasn't discussed. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then my question, I have 2. I'll make it quick. One is, I know that you indicated that once you were charged and incarcerated, you were told that your citizenship or whatever was revoked. So for those of us who have been trying to get out of the system per se and have our, corporate citizenship revoked, we don't have to worry. Like you said, you were just discussing with the other gentleman, there's no way using the 1099s is going to put you in a bad situation where you really need to have your status corrected, for lack of a better term, correct?
No.
Okay.
You don't need to do that.
Okay.
If you file a W-8, you're not a citizen anymore.
Okay.
There's a bunch of stuff that you can do. Just by denouncing it, you can expatriate. And that'll make you a non-resident alien, I guess you could say. There's a bunch of different things. All you got to do is say, hey, I'm not. Well, your voter registration card are. Yeah, but that was before I found out that the United States is a corporation. That's
we actually canceled that. Yeah, we canceled our voter registration. The only thing that we have right now, I've been a stay-at-home mom since our son was 2 and he's 30 now, so I haven't worked. And my husband gets Social Security. He gets a retirement, and we have an investment that we're getting money from. But that's it. We haven't been a W-2 since 2014. So we filed a revocation of election back in 2019, and we haven't filed since then. So anyway, yeah. All right. And so then the last thing, sir, if I may, please, I was taken to court for the Department of Healthcare Services for my stepdad receiving Medi-Cal while he was in a nursing home. But I took care of him for 2 years prior to, and they told us that since I was able to prove that the state would cover his Medi-Cal. But then that was in 2000. Then I had my mom. She was living here. She passed away in 2014, and then they hit me in 2015 for a $45,000 bill, and I fought it, but I was not in my right mind. I did it sui juris because I had just lost her, and I had been taking care of her. She had dementia. So I didn't do everything right. I know I didn't. But anyway, I've got stuck with this bill, and I want to be able to use the 1099A for it. But in all the documents, all I have are the case that basically says that there's a judgment against me, but there's like no coupon, there's no like bill. It's just the letter from the Department of Health Care Services. So can I use that?
Is there a worker's name on there?
When you say a worker's name, you mean the director?
Was it signed by someone?
Just a director of the Department of Health Care Services for California.
It didn't say their name?
Oh, it has her name. I don't know it off the top of my head, but yes, her name is there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay? That's an offer.
Okay.
You were made an offer by the court to pay for something, and you can conditionally accept that offer, or you can send them a bill. Actually, make a copy of the letter and send them the 1099-A. And in the letter, use the terminology. This is a final attempt to pay this debt, and here's enclosed you'll find. Here's the postal rule and everything, and that you agree, folks. When you do these letters for the coupons to the CEOs and to the IRS, in there when you're putting the postal rule, also put in there that they are contractually, because it's the postal rule, they are contractually agreeing to receive the payment. That way they can't come back and say, oh, well, we can't accept this. What do you mean? You just contracted that you did. Do that when you're doing these documents. Yeah, I'd 1099-A it, and then the minute they don't accept, they send you a letter saying, oh, we can't accept this. And now, mind you, they're not going to send the 1099-A back. So they have accepted it. Right? Conditional acceptance. Boom, now they owe you millions of dollars that you can turn around and write letters of credit on.
Very good. Okay, I shall do that. I have enough information from you, sir. I thank you very much, and thank everybody on the call for great questions. We've learned a lot.
Yeah, y'all can, if you need to know more information and you're not getting it from listening to these, to Tad's show and every other venue that I've got out here, feel free to email me or shoot me a message on Messenger. I'm really starting to get caught up with all that stuff now. And I think the new venues that we're going to have up and running here pretty soon is going to start taking a lot of that time-consuming stuff off my hands. And when that happens, folks, I will be doing one-on-one. You'll be able to hit me up on Messenger, call me on Messenger, and I'm going to talk to you. I'm already starting to do that. I'm already starting to pick up these messages on Messenger and talking with folks one-on-one. And that's what I'm really wanting to get down to. We can start beating this one case at a time. But thanks for calling.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next caller, 202 area code. You're next. Sounds like DC.
Hi, this is Kristen calling. Thank you for taking my call. I am involved in a very litigious court case, and now they've filed a contempt against me. And what I recently learned today, this is probably for sharing, I don't know if you know this, but it's considered the law of agency. And I am trying to remove myself from any authority under the state that I reside in through the state's attorney's office. And what I found out was you could make a copy of your birth certificate, and on the back of the copy, you write verbiage such as, I, so-and-so, do hereby revoke my position as registered agent for service of process with the state agency and or organization on the front side of this security agreement. and the front is a copy of your birth certificate. I then forwarded that copy to the state's attorney of my state, indicating to them that I'm informing you that I'm terminating the position with the state agency as their registered agent for service of process and all rights, obligations, and duties assigned with that position henceforth, and notifying them of the attached copy. And that would mean, unbeknownst to all of us, they have access to our birth certificate and making us an agent of this all caps name, which keeps us in the court system. So I thought this was a very interesting updated information I found recently, and I wanted to provide that to the group, and I'm wondering if you knew anything about that process.
Yeah, I do. I've heard about it. You can do all that. You can, man. I'm not knocking anybody for doing nothing like that. But if I wanted to, I'd go on. If what you're saying is by doing this you cease to become an agent, why couldn't you just stand in there and say your mouth, I'm not your agent. I don't want this job. Because see, the thing is they never told you that they were doing this, right?
I agree. I agree, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I understand after 15 years of being stuck in the court system through a divorce and now a custody, and now they're really trying to put me in jail, and I hate to, I don't want to foretell the future, but I see that's the tactic they're doing now. And what I'm doing is
don't do it. I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm not telling anybody don't do it. And here's the thing. Matter of fact, I would say do it because, I'll be honest with you, it's making, this is your justification. This is you convincing yourself that you're detached from all of this. More so than, you see me now, do you believe me now? I'm not a resident anymore. Do you believe me now? I did this thing, I did this thing with the birth certificate. I'm no longer an agent. You believe me now? It's all about you being comfortable with it, because now that you're comfortable with it, right? You can go in there and say, "Wait a minute, I'm not one of your agents. I've done this process, and I'm no longer part of all that. So what's up?" They can't hold you in contempt if they don't have jurisdiction. That's where the problem all starts at.
Right, and I've already filed. Right, and I've already filed in regards to that, and I'm just working all angles. And believe me, this does not. So this process will not be finished because I'm also doing a conditional acceptance. But I'm putting everything on paper because I'm going to hold everybody to what they put me through.
Absolutely. I cussed the judge out. I called her a whore of Babylon, and she didn't hold me in contempt of court. The reason she didn't hold me in contempt of court is because I have I've got a lot of contempt for the court. You don't have jurisdiction. They have to have jurisdiction to hold you in contempt of court. So if they're doing that, they've got it. That's why you need to challenge it. We're going to hold you in contempt of court.
I did.
How is it that you're holding me in contempt of court? Go ahead.
Well, I did. And what happened was when I filed right off right from the beginning, when they filed the contempt, I filed that you don't have jurisdiction. Then what they did was they denied the case, and he refiled it again a couple of days ago. So that told me that what I filed was correct. They're just trying to circumvent everything I'm doing.
File it again, because what they've done is they've changed jurisdiction on you.
Right, exactly.
File it again, and every time they do this, file it again.
Right.
And every time they dismiss it and open it up again, all that's doing is confirming what you know to be true. That's
yeah, I mean, I thought it was weird that I received. I'm sorry, say that again?
They're going to do the conditional acceptance, and eventually what they're going to do is they're going to go, we can't keep doing this with this lady. We need to go ahead and just let this go. That's what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing to keep the ball rolling, and then hit them with the conditional acceptance. Once you do that, they're not going to be able to move against you because they owe you money.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Once you serve them the conditional acceptance and they drag you back into this BS again, tell them, look, you owe me money, bitch. How you going to pay? You didn't get this conditional acceptance that I sent you? Here's the green card. Joanna J. Swanson just signed this thing, see? And, is that your secretary? All right, you owe me money, so how you going to pay? How are you going to pay me? Matter of fact, get your ass down off the bench because you're biased. You can't even hear this case. You want to see them drop a case real fast? Go in there and challenge their jurisdiction due to the fact that it's them that owes you money. Or it's them that had to pay you. That's how this works forever when you do.
Right, and that's why that is what I'm focused on. But just to be clear, the conditional acceptance only needs to be sent once, and it's just a 10-day turnaround for them to respond, right? Okay, that's all I need to know.
You're going to get the judge. See how this is a court? You're going to get the judge. You're going to get the clerk. You're going to get the prosecution. You're going to get everybody involved. If this is a custody thing between your ex-husband, put one on his ass, too.
I am.
Okay? Put one on him, too.
I am.
All right, so does that answer your question?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
214 Tiger. 214 area code.
Hi, hello, Chris. Can
Hello.
you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, this is Grace. I got a couple of questions. I know somebody already asked about letters of credit, so I have a follow-up on that. I pull up my birth certificate, and I paid somebody, the broker, from Fidelity. In short, I found that I have much money in there that they are trading, and it's already mature for 2020. So I have that. So can I write a letter of credit against this?
Yes, you can.
Yes. So another question. Yeah.
You got a certain amount that you know that's owed to you. You can write a letter of credit against that.
Right. So that's I was listening on that. So now me, of course, I bought some properties, and we have a land that we purchased last year, and we're supposed to build 12-unit townhomes in this land, but we tried to get a loan, but the loan fell off, so we were not able to get it. We were not able to build. My question again is, the one that bought the property is my LLC. So can I write a letters of credit on my LLC?
Credit to your LLC. Yes, you can.
So we can start this process.
Yeah, you can write a letter of credit to your LLC.
Amen. And so that's cool. So what else? I was listening to you earlier about the trustee of the dealership. I got it down. It was the indenture trustee. that you were asking?
That's it right there.
Yes.
The indentured trustee.
Yeah, we are going to look for indentured trustee on the dealership. And that's what you are asking, but I cannot answer because I got muted, but I got that right.
That's it, folks. Indentured trustee.
So
this is Amazing Grace. She's on my Monday night group.
So
she's a broker. She's a real estate agent, folks.
In Dallas, yes.
In
so,
Dallas.
like I said, we during the time we bought quite some properties, but I lost it too. So I'm also battling in the court for foreclosure. I'm still in the court, and so we got all those problems. But we're fighting. We're fighting.
That's what you do.
We all need to slay this giant because we are the David. Right?
Bunch of Davids out there.
We are all
handfuls of stone.
Yes, we are all the David in this, and I already like this girl that just talked earlier. I wrote challenge of jurisdiction on them, and like I said, I think that what happened. They want to dismiss my case. They did not want to move forward. So once now I just sent yesterday recusal of the judge, and I recused, and then after that I'm writing again another claim for the judge, notice of claim. So once it's still not hit, I already sent them the conditional acceptance of jurisdictional challenge. And so, follow-up question. They have not responded. I gave them 14 days, and they have not responded. So I just want to repeat myself here. I do need to send them additional default notice, right? No more?
That's what you already have. You've already noticed them. It's a done
more.
Deal. It's a done deal.
Okay, so now
that's
just
the way
a claim of lien. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Because
send that to them. That'll wake them up. That's the way this works, folks. When you're standing on their neck, that's when it's time to grind. When you about got them killed, that's when you got to push down a little harder. You got to crush them completely. And Grace is Amazing Grace is doing that.
Thank you. I thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
Yes, because I just want to.
We'll talk to you Monday night, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, 314 area code. This might be our last one for the night. Depending.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Hey, Chris, this is LaShonda McCoy. I actually spoke with you on Messenger before about the 1099A, but I have 3 simple questions. So my first one is, how do you sign as a beneficiary?
When you sign a beneficiary signature, it's your first name, uppercase, and the rest of them lower, and then you hyphen, and then you sign your second name, upper and lower case. If you don't have a second name, there's no need to hyphen. If you have a senior or a junior, that goes after your second name with a period, then a colon, then your family name, then a comma, then beneficiary, all in lowercase. Okay? If you're a female and you're wondering, do you sign your maiden name or your married name? It's the name. It's the family name that's on the Social Security card. That's one you need to sign with. That's a family name you need to sign with. Is that clear?
So I have 2 last names. Yes, that is. I have 2 last names. So will I sign
then
it hyphenated? Hyphenate my last names as well?
Hyphenate the 2 family names. Hyphenate the 2 family names, comma, beneficiary.
Okay, so then it'll be LaShonda C-McKinney-McCoy, and then the colon, and then McCoy or McKinney-McCoy, all lowercase, right? And then beneficiary.
Your first name. You can use the second initial. You don't have to do your whole second name. You don't have to write your whole second name out. You can use an initial, and then a period, then a colon, and then if you had a married name and a maiden name, you would just hyphenate the two, and then sign beneficiary or BENE period.
Okay. So my next question, really quick, is can a 1099-A work on current debt the same way that it works on new debt? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my last question is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you had like a car payment you've been paying on for 2 or 3 years, you could use a 1099-A to pay off the balance.
Okay, and I would do it the same way I would with the new debt, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll also message you more on Messenger about that as well. And my last question is, what is the coupon? Like, what is that?
Okay. You ever had a credit card statement in the mail?
Yeah.
You know how you cut the bottom of it off? And you send it in the envelope? That's the coupon.
Oh, so is that the same way with the bills too then?
You want me to explain to you what the coupon? When you look at that coupon, it's got a box. It's got a box on it where you put the numbers in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you put your payment amount in there, minimum payment due or other or whatever the case may be, or you're paying it all off. You put that amount inside that box. Well, that coupon's got a to and a from on it. It's got you and it's got the company that you're paying on it. And then it's got bank and routing numbers at the bottom. Most of them do. That's a check. If you turn that over and sign with a beneficiary signature, you just monetized the coupon, so now it can be redeemed. Does that make sense? But what you do is you put a check with it too. You put a check with it too, so you're like giving them twice the money. That's double dipping. That's trust fraud.
So then, if you want to counteract the payments, then you would basically say that it's extortion then, correct? Because they're basically forcing you to do it.
Well, it's when they do stuff like, if you don't send this payment, we're going to come repo your car. That's extortion. Extortion is when somebody says, do this, or I'm going to do that, or don't do this, and I'm going to do that, or I won't do that. That's extortion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. If Mama says, clean your room and I'll give you a cookie, she just extorted you into cleaning your room.
That makes sense. Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, we have room for one more. 973. Hold on. Okay, I see one here, Chris, that I have just got to call on.
Yeah.
It's weird. I've never seen this before. It comes up as I did it credit.
I did it credit, huh?
Yep.
Let's see what they did.
Okay, 908. You just unmuted. Go ahead. I did it credit. Is your phone mute? Go ahead. 908 area code. All right. Never mind. We don't have time.
Yes, we're not going to find out what they did.
Nope. Okay, 973 area code. Go ahead.
Hello, thank you. First, I want to say just be quick in my appreciation. Chris, God bless you, and you too, the host of this.
God bless you, too,
brother. Looking at the sovereignty stuff for the past year, and the fact that I came across it at this time, it was like just after 2, and you were like, yeah, all that stuff is BS, all the extra stuff, and I kind of knew and seen how people were behaving, but that's neither here nor there because I got to ask questions again a little late. So I'm behind on rent, and I didn't get any eviction notice yet, and I'm basically, it's kind of simple, like I'm wondering if I should just go over there and be like, hey, I can give you this 1099A, and, you know, like you said, give them a confident breakdown of what's going on and what it is, and if they don't accept it, then just give them a conditional acceptance. Is that what you would suggest pretty much?
Well, you gave him your Social Security number to rent the place, right?
It's been a couple of years, but I think so.
You did an assignment agreement, and you probably gave them your Social Security number, so they're already trustees in the trust. But if they didn't do that, if they don't have your number, and you offer them a 1099A, it's got your Social Security number on it, which makes them a beneficiary or makes them a trustee in your trust. What you need to do is get savvy with the process, and then go down and say, look, man, you know, I know I'm behind on my rent, but I want to make everything right. Here's what I can do for you. Figure out how much money I owe you to the end of the lease. Every dollar. And we're going to tack 10% onto that. And then I'm going to give you a 1099A. I mean, it's going to pay the rent up to the end of your lease. And then if you want to stay, when your lease is up, tell them you'll make the same deal again for 2 more years or whatever the lease is. And they're going to get paid up front. If you fall over dead after you've had 2 months of rent, they get the money. Or something happens, you got to move out of the state. They're going to keep the money. That's the incentive that you give these people to get them on board. If it was me, brother, what I would do is I would say, look, man, I still got another year on the lease or 14 months on the lease. I'm going to pay you every dollar up to the end of the lease. And I'm going to tack on there 10 or 15 more percent just because you're good guys and you're doing me a solid. I'm going to tack that on there. Now, you can file this with a 1099 OID, 1096, and a 1040B, and my trust is going to pay for it. And then what I would be trying to figure out is how can I buy me a house between now and the time this lease is up? Because a lot of people have approached me and said, you know, I'm living in the projects, or, you know, I'm living with my mom and dad. I'm in my 20s, man. I need to get out. Can I use this to pay for an apartment? Yeah, you could. Go out and find an apartment, get the lease for 2 years, and pay the whole thing. But why? Why not go get a house? It's the same thing. People are going, you know, I'm talking to my landlord, and I'm trying to get him to do a 1099A on the rest of my lease here. Or, you know, I'm going to try and get him to sell me the house. You know, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Maybe I can offer him way more than what he could get for it, and he'll sell it to me. Why do that when you can buy a brand new house? I mean, the only reason I could think of is you love the house so much, and you love your neighbor so much that, and you don't want to move all your junk. Maybe you've hoarded stuff up for 10 years in it, and you don't want to have to move it all. I can totally understand that. Believe me, I don't want to move out of the house I've got because it's too much moving, too much junk. Yeah, but I would do that. I would try and figure out how to finish paying the lease out, and then while if that rolls down like that, go ahead and start planning on buying a house. Find your house somewhere, even if you pay for it for 14 months, and in 5 months from now you're like, I found me a house, or I'm working with a contractor right now, man. I'm going to have me a house built in 8 months. Get yourself ready to get something in. Or if you like apartment living, go look at a townhouse somewhere. You can get a really nice in the suburbs of Chicago where my dad lived. $185,000. You could get a 3-bedroom, really nice townhouse. If you just like living in something like that. But that's what I would do.
Heard you. Thank you very much. Now,
right.
If I were to say get a house, brother. Eventually I sell it, and say I have a beneficiary account at that time, do I have to have it signed to me in the beneficiary way and like addressed to me that way, or I don't know?
If you sell the house and you want to put the money in your account, do you need a beneficiary account? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, you kind of already have said that plenty of times, but I mean, like, if I get a beneficiary account, do I have to have the check VIN to me in the beneficiary style?
You can have it put in your name, in the regular way people write checks. They don't have to write it to you in a beneficiary because you already are the beneficiary of that account. How people pay you. If you had a beneficiary account and you were working a construction job, you were your own contractor, and you had people paying you with a regular check, you could put it right in that beneficiary account. If you wanted to write checks, for yourself or deposit money with you, then you'd use your beneficiary signature. If they gave you a check and they didn't put it beneficiary at the end of it, it doesn't matter because you're going to sign it with a beneficiary signature. You know what I mean? But it's good to have, folks, it's good to have a beneficiary account. Why pay them people? They're making money off you anyway, without even any service fees or anything. So that's why I suggest get a beneficiary account. And another thing too with fractional banking, if I had a beneficiary account and I put $100,000 in that account, you know what's going to happen? That $100,000 is going to stay there at the bank. Now, if I had a regular account and I put $100,000 in that bank, 90,000 of it would go back to the Federal Reserve, and they only keep 10% of it there at the bank. It's fractional banking, right? Now they got that in reserve. They got that 90,000 in reserve. If you need it, you can have them get it. But that's not the way fractional banking works. You're going to, that's how they roll. They're going to put your money over there like that. They're going to send 90% of it back to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is going to hold it in account for the bank, but they're going to use it until then. It happens the same way when you borrow money. So.
All right, so does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. True indeed. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank
God bless
you.
you. Hope I meet you one day.
All right, brother. Have a blessed night, man.
Okay, JJ, I'm going to give you 1 minute to answer my question to you. Then we're going to end the call. So, JJ, check your messages.
We waiting on JJ?
Yep. Need to know who to call on because that guy was either our last call, our last person, or JJ will be if he'll answer my message so I know who to call on because I think we're all getting tired and my phone is not going to last much longer.
Yeah. All right, Kid Dynamite.
All right, well, it looks like he left, so darn it. Okay, so everybody, hang on the line there, Chris. If you would, consider a membership at youhavetheright.com because that does help us to put these calls on. And I do a lot of work to categorize these to make it quick and simple and easy for you. So if you would just consider doing that. It's like $37 a month. It's not a lot, but it does help. And if that's too much for you, at least join our mailing list. Go to the mailing list and put your name on there so you can stay in the loop on notices about this call and when it is and other things like that. And I think that's basically all I have for now. So, Chris, again, thank you very much for being here. And, again, stay on the line. Okay. Everybody, thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you again next week. Good night.